Hello, my friends, coming live from Orange County, California. And you know what? I was just thinking, is this the same shirt I had on yesterday? Sometimes I put them on and then I take them off, and I do wash them, I promise you. But I really do love this shirt. That's one of my favorite shirts. God, Guns, and Trump. Definitely one of my favorite shirts. What are you looking for, son? Oh, I threw it over there next to the mic. It's on the ground somewhere over there. Okay, a little bit further than the chair, that other chair. Yep. All right. And so sorry about that. Wanted to come on tonight just to talk about, there's so much to talk about in regard to the voter fraud, and everything that has to do with the election. We talked a lot about that yesterday. New stuff coming out every day. And you got, I'm not sure what's up with Barr and a couple other people that we really should be looking to as finally holding people accountable, and they are disappointing us. We have Republicans that are disappointing us, and there's obvious fraud, not fake fraud, not anything, but just fraud up our stuff. It's just, there's so much. And the media obviously is ignoring it. You got Barr ignoring it. You got some Republicans ignoring it. And what are we supposed to do? Again, 70%, somewhere in that neighborhood, 70% of Republicans, conservatives, believe that the president should continue another 4 years, and that the election was fraudulent, and he's been robbed of millions of votes. We saw a hearing in Arizona that pointed out a number of things. Actually, I'm going to bring up something here, and I'm going to see if I can't. Oop, that's not that one. I'm going to try to do something here on the fly and keep you guys engaged the best that I can. You may hear some stuff going off because some of these websites, they automatically run videos, and it's a pain in the butt. I hate it when they do that. And so you're going to be hearing some stuff coming up, I'm sure, on occasion. But I'm only going to touch on the election just for a little bit. I want to get to COVID issues. Definitely stuff that will get me blocked on Twitter for sure. And at some point, I'm probably going to get suspended from Facebook, and their tyrants that are over there. Where is my history? And the only reason I bring this up because I just saw it seconds ago. And so why? Oh, here we go. And I want to bring it up to you guys just because I just saw it. Hold on, you're hearing something, but I got to cue it up. I'm only going based off of memory here. Oh, there it is. Okay, good. All right, this is whose show is this? I just started watching this guy, and he's actually pretty funny, but sometimes he has more than 3 people talking at the same time, and it kind of gets irritating. It's called the Mug Club. His name is Steven Crowder. I've seen a few things of his before. I just don't watch it on a regular basis, so I don't know that much about him. But what I'm going to borrow from him is a little bit from the hearings in Arizona, so we could just touch on it just a bit. And it's just to kind of reinforce, like, how can you, as AG Barr or any of the Republicans, say, you know what, or the guy that he got fired, say, this has probably been one of the best elections ever in regard to security. Like, I don't even know how you could say that as anything, as a Democrat, as a liberal, as a media member, as the Attorney General. How is it possible that you can see in plain sight, to take a couple words from Adam Schiff, in plain sight, not fake stuff. In plain sight, you can see some of these things that are happening and did happen. And here is one of them. I actually have to take away the lower third here. Just 1 second. Sorry. And again, I just saw this as I was pushing the live button. So I'm going to play a video here. It's from the Crowder show. But what they're going to do is show a scene from the hearing yesterday in Arizona. And you cannot see this testimony from people that were there during the votes, and they say this is what happened. Or you also have statistics, like just believing that Biden, who did no campaigning, had more votes than Obama, who's one of the most popular Democratic presidents with Democrats, that somehow he got more votes than Obama. You really think that happened? Are you kidding me? And so you cannot. I don't see how it is that it's possible that you cannot see that there's just fraud that was rampant in this election. But here is one more case from yesterday's hearing in Arizona to demonstrate exactly that. Here we go.
Dead. So an estimated, we'll show you the clip, 35,000 votes. This is something that they claim was 35,000 votes were automatically embedded for every Democrat candidate running. Here's their claim.
So this is 143,100 votes that were injected. That was in excess of what the machines could have processed. In Pima County, Arizona, and the Democratic Party added fraud votes in the initial count to the vote by mail totals released at 8 p.m. on November 3rd. We weren't aware of this until after the fact. So there were approximately 35,000 fraud votes added to each Democratic candidate's vote totals.
Nothing to see here.
No. That's right. Nothing to see here. We're just going to ignore that. We're just going to ignore facts. We're going to ignore the fact that 35,000, and it's, when you look at things that are like all the same numbers happening all at the same time in swing states, when you also see that, it's just the chance of many of these things happening in all these states all at the same time are virtually it's an impossibility. It's like flipping a coin and having heads land 100 out of 100 times. It's impossible. It's never happened on this planet. When you what was the other thing that was happening? When you claim that there was a flood in wherever it was it Georgia? I can't remember which area, but in one of the counties, they had this flood that suddenly we have to stop the counting. Yet there's no ticket, no city yard ticket of a response. There's no plumber response to anywhere near where the counting was taking place of anything in regard to such a flood. Right? If it was a flood that would cause things to stop happening, it would require a response from somebody, right? If the leak, the pipe leak was so large that it had to cancel. Like all of us have had leaks in our home. It didn't keep us from living in our home. It didn't keep us from cooking dinner unless it was a flood that caused us to get a dinghy out and then float out the front door, right? and the flooding was so bad we had to stop voting. Okay, then where's the response from the city yard, from a plumber, from it? There's nothing that did not happen. So again, you look at all these things in totality, and you see that people are crazy. And again, we got to resist the tyranny that's going on in regard to media, social media. Democrats are definitely the enemy. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're friends of mine. You are the enemy. If you voted for Biden, you are the enemy to the United States of America, and you cannot be trusted. And that is just a flat out statement that I'm going to make. And then I don't care what you think, because if you voted for Biden, you voted against America. And I am American 100%. I'm for the Constitution 100%. I'm a conservative Christian 100%. And if you voted for Biden, you are definitely the enemy. And if you are ignoring the facts, hey, Deanna, nice to see you. As I come on off of that statement there. Before I go much further, I already got rid of the banner really quick because I wanted to get into this COVID-19. It's going for sure. This is going to be a short one because it's just crazy. So I'm not going to go through all the other sponsors. I simply want you to go to the USPatriotProject.com, the USPatriotProject.com. That'll take you to the website. On there, you'll find a way to contribute to help us as we begin to build an infrastructure. A lot of the stuff, the attorneys to get the nonprofit, a lot of stuff costs money, unfortunately. And to get this thing off the ground, we still need some more help. We've been able to get some help to cover the cost of the stuff that you cannot see. It's all the stuff in the background. We already have a nonprofit. If you scroll down on the part of, it's either on the info about us or in regard to contributing money. If you scroll down, you'll see the nonprofit number that you can use to write off your donation, and you'll see the organization and the address and all that kind of stuff. So that it's all legit. It's all there for you to see. So go to the USPatriotProject.com and help out. If you know anybody that loves conservative Christian values and wants to move our country in a forward momentum that we have, again, there are 70% of the nearly probably 80 million people who voted for President Trump who believe there was some type of fraud and are upset and angry. I see them in Huntington Beach at the Resist movement, resist the curfew movement that we had in Huntington Beach and Yorba Linda. There's a lot of us. And so we need to continue this momentum and not give in. The Democrats will never give up. They never give up. They went for 4 years trying to get rid of this president, did everything they possibly could, and yet he still was our president. But we have to be more like them. We have to be evil in some aspects, but not quite as evil as them, because we don't want to lose our Christian conservative values. However, the evilness has to do with not giving in and not giving up, and being strong and being resistant. I guess I probably shouldn't be using the word evil, but it's just we have to stop being so nice is what has to happen, and too forgiving. Unfortunately, we have a lot of Republicans that are in political positions that we just cannot trust anymore, and we have to find them out, and we cannot vote them back in next time either. We need to vote in fresh blood, conservative Christian value politicians to take the place of some of the rhinos and take the place, obviously, of Democrats who are simply trying to ruin our country. All right, so go to the USPatriotProject.com. All right, let's just simply talk about COVID-19 really quickly here. And I just want to point out, and this is an obvious one, you've probably seen it, but I just want to bring it up anyway, and that this has to do with here in Los Angeles, and that is a county supervisor who dines at a restaurant hours after voting to ban outdoor dining. And so you say, well, the law that she voted for didn't actually go into place until later on. But again, you have to understand, if she thinks it's so dangerous that our restaurants have to be closed and you can't dine out, why is she going and dining out? Right? She just voted to close all the restaurants. She, out of all the people, should be the last person dining out. Right? It has nothing to do with COVID-19. This has nothing to do with the so-called dangers of COVID-19 and that people are dying like crazy. We know that's not happening. We know this. I know it's not happening. I was in the hospital, didn't see one person die of COVID-19. I was on a floor where there's 80 beds for COVID-19. There were only 15. People were on furlough, yet they were talking about the hospital being so busy that they couldn't fit any more people. That's BS. That's not what's happening. You guys, they're simply crazy human beings, and they hate us. And my title is exactly correct. The media, the liberals, the Democrats hate America so much that they're simply trying to destroy it. What they're doing has happened in other countries. We've talked about it before. And so I don't need to go through all that. But that's because they hate America. They hate conservatives. They hate Christians. What's closed? What are they demanding be closed? Churches. What are they demanding to be open? Everything else, right? Not everything else, not restaurants. They don't want us to have fun. They don't want us to enjoy life. But they do want the pot shops open, the marijuana dispensaries they want open. Sorry, my mic was moved there. Hopefully that sounds a little bit better. We don't have any problem going to Costco or Walmart. There's no problem making those companies richer. They don't like the small mom and pop restaurants, small mom and pop stores, the small business owners. They don't like them, but they do like Facebook, they do like Twitter, they do like Walmart, they do like all the bigger companies where you can go. Target, where else is there? I can a whole bunch of others, right? Those can stay open, but you cannot stay open if you're a small entrepreneur. That you cannot open. Gyms, restaurants, they hate you. They hate Americans. They hate people that are conservative entrepreneurs, Christians, capitalists. They hate them, but for some reason, they like the big people. They love the rich people because the rich people are who donate to them. And so you got to see this here with this LA County supervisor who's right there, Sheila Kuehl, who simply has to be voted out or whatever, fired, what have you, where she looks like she has plenty of the pre-existing conditions that would cause somebody to die. So here you got an older woman who obviously does not look that healthy, who votes that everything needs to be closed, but yet she goes out and she dines at a restaurant that she just says has to now, going forward, has to be shut down and cannot have customers. But I'm looking, there was a quote here. This is a serious health emergency and we must take it seriously, Kuehl said. We must take it seriously. The servers are not protected from us and they're not protected from their other tables and they're serving at the particular time plus all the hours in which they're working. Kuehl went on to vote in support of restricting outdoor dining in Los Angeles County, which passed by a 3-2 margin of the Board of Supervisors. And then she goes out and she dines. She goes out and she dines in a restaurant. She said it was simply too dangerous. Oh, madness. I saw somebody else comment here. Those of you that are watching, I can see a large number of people watching, but I only have Diane who commented. Please, if you can take a chance, pull the car over, comment, let me know that you're watching. If you're watching the replay, make sure and let me know that you're watching. And so we have these people simply wanting to destroy our country, wanting to destroy our lives. You got Nancy Pelosi not giving in and allowing us to have the PPP or the stimulation checks for anybody. And so there's no other explanation. Again, as plain as day as the corruption in the election, as much as I shared with you on that one video. This is one video of thousands of incidents throughout the United States of America, especially in the swing states, where you can plainly see that there was some type of corruption, some types of wrongdoing in regard to this election. It's right there for you to see. It's obvious that the Democrats hate America, hate entrepreneurs, hate anybody that has a conservative Christian value, because those are the only places that they are trying to destroy. The small mom and pop entrepreneurs are simply trying to destroy based on a lie when it comes to COVID-19. And that is coming from somebody, and I only repeating it is because you got to know that I had COVID-19 and I was in the hospital. And this is coming from somebody that knows a lot about it and was affected strongly by it. But I got a lot of great information, got a lot of great experience to tell you that you're being told a lie when it comes to COVID-19. And so it is utterly ridiculous. So I'm just going to, let me erase what's on here now. I'm going to use, oh, here it is. Never mind. And again, I think it's 45. I found a number of 45 children that have supposedly died from COVID-19 across the United States. 45. We have our schools closed down in a number of cities and states, and especially in Los Angeles, where you have teachers that are, until you defund and dismantle police, we're not going back to work and teaching your children because of 45 children. Like, what is that? What does the police have to do with teaching children? But 45, that's a lot. Supposedly died from COVID-19, but not. We have more children dying of a whole hell of a lot of other things that if we were to look at those things, you could actually close the school for those things, for flu, for tuberculosis, for a whole number of other stuff, right? Because there's a far higher number of suicides in young people that are killing themselves because of these lockdowns, higher than 45. But you're not saying let's shut our schools and our businesses down because we have a large number of military guys killing themselves on a monthly basis. None of that's happening, but you want to shut down schools for 45. No, it's not that the kids are dying of 40. It's they're going to catch it and take it home. I had COVID-19. I have 5 children. My girlfriend has one daughter who's 13. We both had COVID-19. None of our kids got affected by COVID-19, and none of them passed it on to anybody else. You're being told a lie. There's studies in Europe, in Asian countries, that show that children do not pass on the COVID-19 virus, at least not at a rate that should be alarming or we should be shutting down our schools for. And we had 45. Again, I call BS on those numbers of 45 because we already know that the 260,000, whatever it is that of deaths we've had in the United States, we already know that we have a study and experts saying that number is even false. That there's a strong belief that up to 40, if not more, 40% of those that are marked down as COVID-19 deaths are deaths due to something else, but they also had COVID-19, but it wasn't the COVID-19 that killed them. They just happened to also have the virus. So it was either heart attacks, it was suicide, it was car crashes, it was a whole number of other things. We know that was happening because we have reports from doctors that said, yeah, the person died of stage 4, colon cancer. And at the same time, they had COVID-19, but we marked them down as a COVID-19 death. We have doctors telling us that. And so we know that number is not accurate. It actually is a heck of a lot less. And then we know that most people that die are the elderly and that have pre-existing conditions that cause them to die because of what happened to me. I got pneumonia. I had trouble breathing. I had to be on oxygen for a little while. And there was one night where they thought I was in a little bit of trouble, that I may not wake up the next morning. So I had one of those days, right? But it's because I'm actually a healthy person who doesn't have any pre-existing conditions. I really was never a smoker. I had a couple cigars here and there, but I was never a smoker. I was working out 6 to 7 days a week. And I have 5 kids to keep me busy. And so I was able to survive the COVID-19. So I'm not one of those people that necessarily needs to be put in a home and quarantine away from other people. The other thing that's important, the reason I raise this is because of these numbers. And so let's just say, I'm going to take a round number. Let's take 1,000. Let's take 1,000 people have been infected by COVID-19. Now, let's say that 900 of those people died of COVID-19. That would be a tragedy. That would be a very dangerous virus. All right. Infected, died. Again, that's an example of anything. Let me call it something else. Let's call it COVID-20. If in COVID-20 we have 1,000 people, out of 1,000 people, 900 die, then we shut down the world. Then we shut down the economy. But that's not what's happening, right? The deaths are actually going down of COVID-19. Why? Because of a lot of reasons. We know who to protect, right? We went to protecting the elderly. We didn't do what Cuomo did. We're not putting infected COVID-19 people in nursing homes, unlike Cuomo. You would take out the numbers of the people that died because of Cuomo. You would now have that number. There would be 10 people that died of COVID-19 across the United States. If you took out Cuomo's numbers and the number of people that died of something else that just happened to have COVID-19. And I don't know what the numbers would be, but it'd be a hell of a lot less. Cuomo killed enough people on his own that, they gave him the Emmy. Hey, you did such a good job killing people. We're going to give you the Emmy for killing elderly people by putting COVID-19 infected people in nursing homes. Great job. Great job there, Mr. Cuomo. All right, back to my numbers here. So what's happening is actually the deaths are going down, but the infections are going up, or the infection sounds like people are dying too. What's cases where they're testing positive for COVID-19. What's happening though is we're testing a hell of a lot more people. I'm out of breath. A lot more people being tested. So if you were to take again, these aren't actual numbers. I'm just showing you numbers here. But if you have, say, 10 million positive, and currently, and again, these are just numbers. I'm not telling, these are not exact numbers. I'm just showing you numbers. But if you had like 500, let's take 5,000 people dying, and the numbers are actually going down, and yet every day this number is going up. What we're showing you here is that actually it's not as deadly as we thought, as we've been led to believe. Remember in the beginning when we were told that up to 2.5 million people would die of COVID-19 if the government didn't step in, and then when President Trump and his team was able to keep the numbers down in the 250,000, that's not a lot of people compared to what they said was going to die. 2.5 million is what they told us, but only 250,000 people died. Many of those people we think died of something else and happened to be convicted. And then you have Cuomo, who did what he did and put the number of people that were infected into nursing homes. You remove those, the 2.5 million compared to what it probably is, somewhere in the neighborhood of, let's say 100,000 people died. That is nothing. That is a great job by the Trump administration, taking action, closing down borders, closing the country down for a little bit, figuring it all out, and then opening it back up is a great job. But what's happening here is these numbers are going up because more people are being tested, but the deaths are going down. That's telling you the virus isn't as deadly as we think. Remembering that there's more people that probably have it than the 10 million, because like me and my girlfriend, other people, we didn't want to be tested. We had a feeling that we had it, but we didn't want to be put into some database of these are the people that had, like, we'd have to wear a number like C19 on our back or get a tattoo. There's a little bit of concern of the stigma that comes with having COVID-19. And so like me and her and other people that I know, I go, I think I got it, but I don't want to be tested. I don't want to be put into some database. So that's not, again, these aren't accurate numbers. I'm just going to repeat that because people join in halfway, is that if you take and now make it 20 million people and these numbers go down to 4,000 people, again, you have less people. You have a less deadly virus, and that's not what the media is telling you. All they keep telling you is that, oh, we got to close down the state. We got to close down the county because more and more people, this number is going up, more people getting infected. But less people are dying. You're forgetting that part. More people are dying from suicides. More people are dying because they're not going to get tested for cancer. So you're not getting the early you're not identifying cancer early in people so that they can also be saved. Instead, they're waiting, and now the cancer is getting worse while they're waiting because they don't want to go, because they're hearing on the news that they can't go into the hospital. You have people having a couple of other issues that are waiting before they go in, and they're dying because of this. And so now here they're talking about in Los Angeles shutting down the restaurants again. Biden is talking about shutting down the country for another 6 months and having a mask mandate for masks that don't work. We know the masks don't work. There's a number of studies that happened before COVID-19 that said masking is not a good idea because it simply does not work, especially for a virus that has such a small molecule that finds its way through the mask, over the top, under the top, and then people touching themselves and people wearing the mask down. I wish I had a mask here, but down below their nose, which I commonly do. I mess with it. So this, again, when I say resist the tyranny at all costs, I am not kidding. I am not kidding. Go to the resistance in Huntington Beach, in Yorba Linda, Los Angeles, Beverly Hills, wherever they have rallies. We have to not give in to the tyrants. We have to not give in. In Chino Hills, where I go to church, we go into restaurants and I probably shouldn't be saying this, coffee shops without masks all the time. We don't give a crap. It's in San Bernardino, where it's like the old West over there. And we go in there and just say, you know what? We are not buying into this BS. If you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. Right? We went into another, I'm not going to say the name of this restaurant because actually it's all over the place and I just want to bring attention to them. But you had half the people in line that were wearing a mask, the other half that weren't wearing a mask. Why? Because masks don't work. And we understand these. We're not stupid, and we're smart enough to understand. And again, I'm just going to bring this up one more time. You're talking to somebody that had COVID-19 and did not have a great experience. My girlfriend had COVID-19, but didn't have any of the things happen. She didn't end up in the hospital because possibly she's a lot more strong than I am. and just I may be in better shape. I don't know, but it hit me hard. But again, I saw the truth while I was there. I asked the nurses and the doctors about what's happening, and they said, no, we're furloughing people because there's just simply not people aren't coming to the hospital like they used to for a lot of things, not just COVID-19. But they're going, we're afraid people are dying because they're not coming in where they would normally come in and have some things checked. Now, understand the emergency room prior to COVID-19 was always packed. I remember trying to take one of my kids who maybe broke their arm or got sick to the emergency room years before COVID-19, and you had to wait hours and hours and hours. It was much harder to get into the emergency room in those days than it is now. It's actually faster to get in the emergency room now. It's not what you're being told. I went to the emergency room 3 different times with my COVID-19 in the beginning, 3 different times. One time I was seen right away, and I've never been seen so fast, and walked through and go, where is everybody? As I'm walking through as I'm walking through the emergency room, like, where isn't there? Like, I heard you guys were completely busy. Yes, Ray.
I went to the hospital twice.
During COVID-19? And what was it like? My daughter said she went twice. Was it packed? No, never packed. So they're just making a statement that they went to the hospital during COVID-19 and went, and there's nobody. It's like a ghost town. We're talking about Kaiser Permanente, one of the largest campuses that I know of right here in Anaheim. That's the one I have gone to. I'm not sure which one they went to, but it's simply, it is, you're being told a lie about everything that's going on and everything in the election, in the so-called pandemic, in hydroxychloroquine, whether it's good or not, everything. It's because, again, it's the only reason is because they hate Americans, they hate conservative Christians, they hate churches being open, they hate it all. But you need to resist. I'm just telling you, I just seeing so much BS. My kids are right there. I'm really trying to be good. It is the teachers union. Absolutely. The teachers union. Thank you. Light of Jade. Ooh, like that. Light of Jade. Teacher union are despicable human beings in Los Angeles. We are, hey, Eddie, Becky, you know what? Thank you, Ann. I appreciate that. We are so lucky here in the Placentia Yorba Linda School District. We had 3 conservative Christians, Republicans get voted into our school board. I'm so happy. We're going to be having a little bit of a celebration, I think, coming up on Friday that I'll be going to and celebrating their election into those positions. So happy. Fantastic. I'm so happy that we have a Republican voted in Huntington Beach in the Congress and in Chino Hills, either the Senate or Congress. I can't remember which one. I think it's Congress also in Chino Hills. Hedy might remember or know who. And then we have another gentleman in LA, I think, or somewhere in that area, maybe Pasadena, who got elected in Republican, conservative Christian. And so we have very positive signs here in California. And so it's because we're not going to give in. We're not going to give up, and we're going to resist the tyranny and at all costs. And the lies that we're being told are just excruciating and on many levels. They are for me, because I know the truth. I was just in a situation where I'm listening to what I go, no, that is not what's happening. I don't know where it is. It's almost as if, and we've thought about this. Yes, Congress. Thank you, Hedia. Yeah, and Chino Hills, another one into Congress. So many women too. So many women across the United States voted in Republicans into Congress. But just I forgot. I lost my train of thought. It'll come back to me. Hey, Andy, the Dems are so sick. I have had friends leaving my Facebook because I voted Trump. Crazy. It is crazy. They are. Again, I'm just going to repeat this. I'm going to repeat it over and over and over again, because it's just simply, hopefully one of them will see, because I keep telling them all the time. I said, I need you to tell me why you voted for Biden, why you voted for Biden, not why you voted against President Trump. Because we know that you believe the lies. So you already believe the lies that he was a Russian spy. You believe that he caged children. You believe that he's racist. I know all of that we know is not true. We can show you examples of why it's not true. We can tell you examples why Joe Biden is one of the most corrupt politicians we've ever had in our government, that his brothers and his son made millions of dollars, and they had to split the billions of dollars with Joe. And we know that to be true. And so those things being true, why? And again, these are to the Democrat liberal morons, why did you vote for Biden? Give me the reasons why you voted for Biden. Never have I ever seen a comment or heard face to face with somebody where it did not go back to, well, Trump is an evil human. No, you're not listening to my question. Why did you vote for Biden? What one of his policies? Well, I don't know. Quite often they go, well, I'm not sure what his policy is on that. I'm not sure what his position is on that particular thing. Okay, so let me tell you, he wants an open border. Are you for open borders? Well, no, not really. I think really we should still have some protection of borders. Okay, well, you voted for the guy that wants open borders. Well, if he just does that, I think compared to having Trump, no, I told you not to say Trump. Trump cannot be in the answer. That's the thing. I need you to know who you voted for. Well, Biden is a nice guy. Who told you he's a nice guy? Did you see him yelling at the guy with the hard hat about whatever the comment was? He was yelling and challenged it. And then another guy, he challenged the push-ups. And the other guy and the other lady, he called her a lying pony faced, whatever that was. He said to her. And did you not hear Kamala say that he was a sexual predator and that he was a racist? You didn't hear Kamala say that before she became the vice president nominee? You didn't hear any of that? You didn't hear anything about his son getting contracts with the Ukraine and China and Russia. You didn't hear about the millions of dollars that his son got. None. What about his brothers who got contracts in Iraq and contracts in one of the islands? I forget which one it is now, Costa Rica or one of those things, where Biden was responsible for being, kind of like an intermediate type of guy that worked within the government in those areas on different projects. And it just so happens the very project that Biden was responsible for, that's where there's the son or the brothers was able to get a contract. You're saying that's all a coincidence. Okay, boomer. Then you can go on believing that. But again, if you were to just really have them focus on giving you anything that they can say positive about Biden, in many cases, you'll either have a comeback or it will never stand Biden. It'll always go to Trump. And so because what? They don't care. Democrats don't care about all they're interested in is power and destroying our Constitution, the United States of America, and they hate Americans and they hate conservative Christians. That is it. There is no other answer. Why are only the Democratic cities being destroyed by BLM and Antifa and the Democrats? Why? Because that's where they have control. They can control them because that's where all their followers are. You don't see them destroying a Republican conservative location ever. Washington, D.C. being destroyed. Why? Because that's where they have control. That's where they have the ability to say, okay, I want you to go out and loot some buildings, catch some things on fire. This is our agenda. You need to go out, right? Because this is where they're trying to make it look like the chaos is because of Donald Trump. Well, if it was truly because of Donald Trump, you'd see it in conservative Republican areas. You're not seeing it in conservative Republican areas. You're only seeing it in Democrat areas where they have control, where they're able to get the message that you need to do this on this day for this reason, and they still have looting and the destruction taking place because that is where they have power. That is where they're showing you. They're showing you in plain sight. Again, using Adam Schiff's words, they're showing you in plain sight how evil and destructive. They don't care about their voters. They don't care. The leadership is giving instruction to the people who have no money how to destroy their cities and make their cities worse. Their schooling is worse. They're shutting down the schools in Los Angeles. They're shutting down the schools and not opening their schools because the teachers union doesn't care about the education. None of their platform has to do with education. It only has to do with defunding and dismantling law enforcement, which they did in Los Angeles. They did dismantle the Los Angeles School Police, a huge police department with canine, with everything. They defunded and dismantled that law enforcement agency. And they also, in Los Angeles PD, dismantled the sex crimes unit. They were successful in doing that. In a Democratic-run city, that's a sanctuary city that has released thousands of criminals. That's where they have control, and that's where you can see they don't care about their voters. They don't care about the people, the population that lives within those boundaries of that city, and they don't mind destroying them. They don't mind destroying their cities. San Francisco, you got fecal contamination and urination from the 300,000 homeless people there, destroying that community, and they don't care. And it's only happening there because that's where they have control. And yet they continue to vote. The people that live there continue to vote Democrat. That's how crazy things are. They are some of the dumbest people on the planet. Dumbest people on the planet. Then you have the outlier Democrats that don't live in those cities are going, yeah, we're going to vote Democrat because that crap isn't happening here. Our police are fine. I'm safe here. And they move to Florida and they vote Democrat because things are safe there. You idiots. Oh, all right. My ranting is over. I'm gonna let it go. All right, my friends, and thank you I love seeing new people come on, and I wish light of jade. If you're still on, let me know what that means. Light of jade, and I'm glad. Thank you for saying yes, that's true. I appreciate that. I appreciate the hearts and the hands up. Thank you for watching. Light of jade. And I probably. It's possible that I know. I can't recognize because you're using a cat, filter, so I can't exactly tell who that is. But thank you for watching and thank you for supporting. Make sure and go to. I'm going to put up another banner here just so that you can be aware that we have other locations, just in case I get brought down. I have tons of friends that their accounts are constantly being shut down, and I'm often wondering, why they let me go sometimes, because sometimes they share my stuff and then they get. They're getting shut down, but yet here I am. Sorry about that. Let me get rid of this comment here. And so go to the uspatriotproject.com. That's one site you want to follow. Go there and bookmark it because it'll be growing and changing as we go forward. And then the other one I want you to go to and make sure and subscribe is the Andy Falco podcast.com. I just put up another. I'm on my 66. I was so shocked when I wrote that number. 66th episode on the podcast. So the Andy Falco podcast has 66. I'm still having trouble breathing. 66 episodes on my podcast. The other place you want to go that I don't have a banner. I thought maybe I might have created one, but I don't have it here. And that is the AndyFalcoShow.com. The AndyFalcoShow.com. That'll take you to the YouTube channel. And then I'm also on Rumble. I'm also on Parler. And I've uploaded and updated all of those locations also with the most current version of the lives. They don't have live broadcasting yet on Rumble or Parler. They're talking about saying they're going to have it within the next couple weeks or months. So as soon as it is, I will find a way to go live there also, because we know that we are getting censored and throttled on these platforms with Facebook and Twitter and YouTube. And that's just the way life is for right now. And we're going to figure out Tumblr is gaining more momentum as each day goes by. And so is Parler. More people are joining Parler every day. And Twitter hates it. And so does Facebook. And so I've now recently I've been posting more. I've been using more of my links from Parler, more of my links from Rumble. I know at some point I'm going to piss them off, and then they're going to shut me down and suspend me. But I have no other way of doing this. I'm going to show you one more thing here. We have our new logo. I think I'm going to see what my guy comes up with for logos. But I got the new logo for the U.S. Patriot Project, which I love. I told you it had a lion in it, the lion representing Jesus Christ, and the U.S. Patriot Project in red, white, and blue. And I see a coin. I see a coin being made with that on one side, and probably scripture on the back of the coin that you'll be able to carry along with you. But I'm really liking that logo a lot. There's another one that he also made that I'm not ready to show you yet. I'm having to make some changes to see what he can come up with, and I think it'll actually be pretty cool. Hey, Robert Block, they want to break down the population and become reliant. Absolutely. Absolutely. That has been their goal since at least the 1940s, as far as I've been able to go back and see where much of this has started happening. And I'm sure it happened before that, but in the book, this book right here, which you simply want to get, is called Color, Communism, and Common Sense. I've read a lot of this book on my Facebook lives in the morning. But this is a great book by Manning Johnson. You can see how tattered it is. I carry this around. I brought it to church and read it while I'm waiting for the message to start quite often. But this is their playbook for what they're doing now. When you read this book, you read everything that they're doing. This is written in 1948. That everything's written in this book, the playbook. You can see exactly what he's talking about in this book is being done today. Everything, including lies. Here's the other book I talk a lot about, and you should get this copy and hand it out to people. It's called How Do You Kill 11 Million People? By Andy Andrews, a great conservative Christian who writes some really great books. But 11 million, how do you kill 11 million people? And the one thing, and I'm going to show you the page right here, is how do you kill them? The answer, breathtakingly, is simple, and it is a method still being used by some elected leaders to achieve various goals today. How do you kill 11 million people? Lie to them. That is what it says right there on that page right there. Is you lie to them. And you make the lie big. And that is exactly what's happening today. This book also, it was written, not 1948, but let's see, when was it? Andy Andrews. Sorry, losing my voice. 2011. This book written in 2011. Again, it's talking about what is happening today. And that is you lie, make the lie big, say it often, get the media to support your lie. And that's all in these books. Get the media to support your lie, and you'll get people to believe you, and you'll be able to get them to say, "Hey, I want you to get in that train, right there, that car train, and we're going to take you to a place that's going to be awesome. Don't worry about it." And you will fill that cattle car with Democrats currently. Democrats will okay. CNN said we need to get the cattle cars are going to be over here at the Fullerton train station. You'll see a whole line of Democrats getting into the cattle car. You'll see Republicans going, "You guys are morons." You've really now you've shown what you are, who you really are. You're believing these people, and that's what will happen. That's where they're at right now. They're getting them to loot and destroy their own cities. You can see it, right? It is no different than what we're seeing here in this book. How do you kill 11 million people? You lie to them. And then they tell them, we need you to riot in Minneapolis. We need you to riot in Seattle. We need you to create Chaz in Portland and not let the police in. And then we'll see what happens, right? And then we need other people to loot and continue to riot in those cities, even if Chaz fails. We need you to loot and riot in Los Angeles, and New York, and Washington, D.C. When they have the RNC at the White House, what we want you to do is to yell and scream at people and simply, again, destroy your own city. And you see them doing it. They do it on command. And they don't care whether they get arrested, because Kamala is going to raise bail money to bail out Antifa and BLM members specifically, and criminals. Kamala supporting the criminals by encouraging other people, including herself, to raise bail money to get these people out. And then she says something, I guess, the other day about how we need to really stop this looting and rioting. I think I remember what she said. Like, what? You are an idiot. But how do you get 11 million people to get into a cattle car and go by train to Auschwitz? Is you lie to them. And they simply are now at a point where they could get their Democratic voters to do just about it. They got them to vote for Biden in some cases, not as many as you think, because it's corrupt and crazy. But you can see, right? They got them to vote for a mentally diminished human being who was always a liar, who was always corrupt, who was always using his position in the government to build his wealth. He's always been doing it. And now he's mentally declined, and he has a vice president who is one of the worst human beings on the planet, and they talked you into voting for them. Why? Because they lied to you, and they made the lie big, and they made it big about not only about Biden, but also about our president, President Trump. They made the lie big enough so that you followed their direction and you fell for it and continue to fall for it on a daily basis. We see you walking in freely with masks. You're driving your car with masks on. You're jogging with masks on, right? And you're continuing. It's right there in front of you. Driving with a mask on, hiking with a mask on, out in the open air. Nobody ever said that you need to do that. But yet you're doing it because of Fauci, who they've paid for, and a large number of other people. It really is one of the craziest things that you can ever. and you're doing it, and you're going, oh, you're so smart, and you are talking about this hoax of election fraud. Okay, okay. Oh, what have you? Let's see. Send me the name of that book. Which one? This book? Color, Communism, and Common Sense. Color, Communism, and Common Sense. Is that the one you're talking about? Or How Do You Kill 11 Million People? That one? Or The Constitution of the United States? I did hold that one up. So I'm not sure which one, but either one. The Manny Johnson book is amazing. When I started reading that book, I'm going, is this? I kept looking. I had to keep going to the first printing, 1958. The reason I keep saying 1948 is I think somewhere when he started writing was in the 1940s, and that's why I keep going to the 1940s. But I keep having to go like, when is this now? Because so much of what's happening now is in this book. He said this is what they're doing now. This is what they're teaching us. This is what the Reds, which were the Russians back then. This is what the Russians are teaching us to do. He wrote that in the book was published in 1958, written in the 1940s. I kept on going, gosh, this is exactly what's happening right now. Let me try to find one now, just because for giggles. Both. Okay. Let me just find one really quick, if I can. Sorry. Now I should never started this. Oh, now I can't find, like, usually something jumps right out at me, but I don't have. So the communists tried to exploit these national, racial, and religious differences in order to weaken, undermine, and subjugate America to Moscow. Again, Moscow was obviously Russia, right? The Russians were recruiting people like Manning Johnson, black men, to support the communist movement in the United States of America. And so what he's saying here, and this is just one sentence that I found, and I'm kind of glad I did now, where it says the communists, which are the Russians, in our case, it's the Democrats. And I'm going to replace communists with the Democrats, try to exploit these national, racial, and religious differences in order to weaken, undermine, and subjugate America to Moscow, to the Democrats. Like a serpent, they use guile to seduce each group. At no time have the communists even hinted or suggested to any group other than the Negroes that their cleanliness or tendency to colonize a given area creates a ghetto or quarters. Were they to do so, they would be jeered out of each section as crackpots. Evidently, the Reds, which is again Democrats today, Russians back then, the Reds had international propaganda in mind when they described Negro sections as ghettos, because the definition of the word ghetto is in no way applies to a Negro section any more than it does a German, Irish, Jewish, Chinese, or any other section in America. And then I'm going to skip over to this page. Negroes band together in serious in sections like other races and national groups, much for the same reasons, like other racial and national groups. They can buy land, build communities, settle in the section of the country. Like other racial and national groups, they can make their sections as nice and attractive as possible. The maximum business, cultural, sanitary, and social services are within their reach, as with other groups. The communists, through propaganda, have sold a number of Negro intellectuals the idea that the Negro section is a ghetto, that white Americans created it, sets the geographical boundaries. That is the product of the race hate and the inhumanity of white Americans. Therefore, it is a struggle of Negro against white oppressors for emancipation. Again, this is written and published in 1958. This is still happening today, right? We've seen that the Democrats have been using the racial divide through BLM and Antifa to exactly what it says in this book, to build a racial divide, to destroy America, to say that all the white Americans are racist. Did we not hear that for the last several months? Oh. And again, and they're falling for it. They're only destroying the Democratic-run cities. Why? Because they're following the direction of their leaders, of the Reds, of the communists, of the Marxists. And that's the only place they have control. And that's why they're able to control them and tell them, this is what we need you to destroy, so that we can say that all of this is happening because of President Trump. All this is happening because of white Americans. All this is happening because of conservative Christians. They hate you, is what they've been telling these cities. And it's happening today. All in this book, Color, Communism, and Common Sense by Manning Johnson. And then again, you'll see it repeated here in How Do You Kill 11 Million People by Andy Andrews. All right, my friends, I went in a whole nother direction there, but it still has to do with this COVID-19. That the deaths are going down, but the cases are going up because more people have it. And it's not what they're saying it is. Again, you could be like my girlfriend, who she had it, but really had a little bit of flu symptom, that kind of stuff, but overall not to the degree that I had it. I actually got pretty serious there for a little bit. And then you have between us, 6 kids, none of them got it. None of them passed it on. And then we had a 7th person, a 21-year-old in the mix at her house, right? So you had a 21-year-old and you had the 13-year-old. I had 7, 10, 12, 14, and 26-year-old in my home. And I was here and had COVID-19. She was here and had COVID-19. None of them got it. But you're being told kids can't go to school. We need to shut down our economy. We have to close down restaurants. Pot stores are open, though. Don't forget, we can have the marijuana stores open. Those are good. All right. We need to open only the big stores like Costco and Walmart and Target. Those can remain open. You can shop on Amazon. You can do that. You can go pick up your packages. Amazon can deliver every day, right? Come to your front door and deliver every day. That's okay. But the little guys, the little restaurants, the little gyms, all those have to close. Oh, churches for sure. Churches definitely have to be closed. But, oh, all right. I can't take it anymore. And being from Europe, all this rings a painful bell. It has to. And yeah, I've been to Auschwitz. I've been there. I've shown pictures on my Facebook page before. And I felt the evil and the death in Auschwitz and know the history. My dad was in World War II. He actually went through the camps during the time that they were being released. And there's another word for it. I can't think of what the name of it is now. But they saved the Jews that were still alive and freed them from the camps. And my father walked through there and heard the history from him, and then also read a lot about the history myself and while I was there in Germany. And this is what this is all about. How You Killed 11 Million People is about the Holocaust and how they got the Jews to get in those cattle cars and be taken to a place. Well, we're just going to be work there. There's going to be places where you can play piano. It's just we have to use these cattle cars because that's the only way we can get you from point A to point B. And don't worry that it's like a 2-day ride standing in a cattle car. Don't worry about that. In the end, we're going to be taking care of you. Yeah, they're going to take care of you, all right? They're going to put you in gas chambers and they're going to kill you and use you for experiments and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, don't worry about it. And it's the same thing. Whether you believe it or not, Democrats, liberals that are watching that refuse to comment and refuse to, understand, you're being lied to, and you're following along. You're following their plan. You're a part of it. You are the enemy of the United States of America. You are the enemy to our Constitution. You are the enemy, and there's no doubt about it. And there's no doubt in my mind when I say that. I have no hesitation to say it, and have it obviously for several months now. And we're going to continue to see this. It doesn't matter whether Biden becomes our president or President Trump. We're still going to. It's going to continue, and it's going to be bad. So make sure that you are visiting your gun stores and getting as much ammo as possible, and food and water and all that kind of stuff. Because either way, we're in for a little bit of a ride here over the next couple of years. And I don't mean to end this on a sad note. I'm actually, hate to say this, but these last few months have been some of the best months in my life. And I'm sure coming up here, we'll have a show on why that's true also. But anyway, go to I'm going to put this up one more time just for giggles. The USPatriotProject.com, USPatriotProject.com. Go there, visit there, and please contribute as much as you feel comfortable doing so to help us getting this program off the ground and continuing this talk. And I want to get out there mobily and begin to do some more work out there in the public. I was doing a Facebook Live. There was one last thing. I was doing a Facebook Live this morning on my devotional, which I don't have handy here. Is my devotional over there, Kelly? No, the green. No. Anyway, I do a daily devotional during the day. So if you're watching this for the very first time, follow me on one of the social media platforms because I do that during the day. But I was in a new spot at the park where I've been doing. It's okay, son. You don't need to go look for it. It's okay. In this new spot, the road is a lot closer, and people could hear me as they were walking by. And I actually had people stopping and listening to what I say. Now, I don't know what side of Satan they were on, but I was talking about Satan. And I was talking about Jesus Christ. And all of a sudden, people put on the brakes, and they're standing there, and they're only like 20, not even 20 feet, maybe 15 feet away from me, kind of going, what's this guy doing? Was he talking into the air? And I'm not sure if they could see that my phone was right in front of me. But I felt not the power. What am I looking for? I felt the calling, I think, to be more out somewhere doing that very same thing. I've been doing stuff from my studio, which is a great place to do some of these broadcasts, obviously, because I can use the whiteboard. I can use my computer a little bit more readily. But being able to go out into the public with some of these same tools and be able to talk and draw a crowd to listen to what we're saying, we may be able to grab a few people that are on the fence. I'm trying to decide whether I need to be a liberal or I need to be a Republican, if I should believe in Satan or believe in God. And there's going to be a few of those people that are going to be walking by and go, wait, this guy's talking about something that I actually been having that battle in my head, or I have the devil and the angel, on my shoulder. I tell them, no, do this, go to the strip club. No, stay home and read the Bible. Right? You got these two entities, and at that moment, they may be walking past a place where I'm actually doing a Facebook Live talking like I did today. I don't know. There was a man, and then a woman came by later. They weren't related. And he was like saying, what? And pointing at me. And then she turned and started listening for about maybe 30 seconds, a minute and a half or something like that. Maybe longer. I don't know, because I was looking at the camera. And I felt for a moment, I go, you know what? I wonder if I said something they needed to hear. I wonder if one of them maybe went home and did something different in a positive way because of something that maybe I said at that moment. And then I thought, wow, what if I would have actually been able to call them over? Why didn't I call them over and say, hey, if you want to hear what I'm having to say, come have a seat? Because I was at a picnic table. They could have sat there while I finished my discussion. And then maybe we could have had a conversation. And maybe I could have had one of my books there, the Constitution or the 11 Million People or the Man-to-Man book that I love so much. That the great retired general who created the Delta Force, Boykin, actually created. Like, that's where I see the power of this. That's where I see the power of doing live broadcasting. And that's where I see the power of doing remote live broadcasting, that we can bring more people to, the side of Americans, the side of the Constitution, the side of the being a patriot and a conservative Christian in our world. That's where I see the power. And that's why I need your help. So go to USPatriotProject.com. And whatever you feel comfortable doing, there's all kinds of options on there. You can give $5, $15. I can't remember what it is now. You can give monthly, and then you have a legacy where you can give up to $1,000, $2,000 if you have something like that in your war chest. Or you can go to Venmo or PayPal, or you can send a check through the mail, whatever, $100, whatever you feel comfortable with, to the address that's on that particular page where it says donate. So that's my spiel and my hard sell for that kind of stuff. Energy. Do I need more energy? Oh, no. Yeah, yeah, it felt good. It felt to be good to be out there. I've often made fun of Bible thumpers right out there on the being on the street corner, hold it. And I who knows? I don't feel that I'm one of those guys, but whoever those guys are. But I do feel I have a message of saving America with our conservative Christian values, which actually created America and our Constitution. It may not have been necessarily conservative, but there was a version of that, right? That's why we had something called the Tea Party, right? Is that there was this party that felt like we need to have some conservatism, but we also need to understand that maybe a little bit of just a dash of liberalism. There's a touch, the independent party or whatever party, the Green Party, whatever, just kind of a little bit of a balance. But we need to go back to our roots, and one of those roots is the Bible and our Christian beliefs. All right, my friends, I love you for watching. I really do appreciate you. Share this out, comment if you're watching the replay, and I just appreciate you guys being on and watching and paying attention to what we're doing over here. All right, my friends, I love you. God bless. Take care. Have a great night.